Jason Kidd all year has been handling these press conferences in the worst way possible, refuses to take accountability for any of the team's failures, usually pins it on the construction of the roster or pins it on specific players, and he was quoted earlier in the season saying, "I'm just like you guys, I'm just watching the games." It's just zero accountability for his poor coaching. That character right there, I don't think is something you want in a head coach. I'm not saying to never say your player messed up or this or that, but never takes any blame for himself. Not his fault. He's just there watching the games, guys. I'm just like you. I'm just in the crowd. So anyways, let's get right into this video.
How hard is it to stomach basically waving the white flag to end the season?
Okay. So as soon as this question is asked, right, the reporter basically implying, he's indirectly saying, he's like, you're purposely losing the game. All Kidd has to say is, we tried our best with the guys that were available tonight. Unfortunately, we came up short. Just ignore the question entirely. Or get defensive and say, no, we weren't waving the white flag. We just had some guys that are injured. You can choose to either ignore the question or be defensive about it. And instead,
just understanding it's not so much waving the white flag. It's, decisions sometimes are hard in this business, and you have to make hard decisions. And we're trying to build a championship team. And sometimes you got to take a step back and understanding, again, with this decision, this is maybe a step back, but hopefully it leads to going forward, and again, it's not always, easy to make decisions, but these are decisions that are made from my bosses, and we gotta, follow them, and we trust Cuban and Nico are gonna, put the pieces together to put us in a position to win a championship, and so that's just starting the process to...
Okay. So, like I said, all he had to do was just say, he did say we're not waving the white flag in a sense. It's a business decision. But all he has to say is, we're not trying to lose the game. We're trying to win. We're playing with the guys we had available, and leave it at that. He didn't have to dive into all these details here. And then he goes on to say, it's not my decision, it's my boss's decision. So again, shifting the blame. Nothing's his fault. Nothing's ever Coach Jason Kidd's fault. That right there either implies one of two things. Either there is some conflict, Kidd and Cuban, or Kidd and Nico, or Jason Kidd is just not the most intelligent at understanding what he's saying and what's coming out of his mouth and how it's going to be interpreted. Because I think the only way you can really interpret what he just said is he's shifting blame to the team owner and to the GM, and basically admitting, yes, the team is tanking and it's not my fault, it's their fault. But you just opened up this whole can of worms by saying that. You can't do that. You can't admit to it. That's the one rule about tanking. You can't say that you're tanking. That's it. You can sit all the players you want, and the league will do an investigation on it. But as soon as you say, oh yeah, we made a business decision, we chose to sit these guys, even though we still technically have a chance to make the play-in, we purposely chose to sit these guys. It didn't help that Luka was out for after the first quarter and he wasn't even hurt. This is just, it's a bad look. Again, I was a fan of them losing out, but you got to go about it the right way. Do it like the Utah Jazz did. They don't answer any questions about it, and don't talk about it. That is the main rule. You do not talk about tanking as the team coach, as the team owner, as the GM. That's off the table.